David Gonski, as chairman of the Australian Stock Exchange, Coca-Cola Amatil, as well as being intimately involved in many other high-profile Australian organisations, we know you best as a long-term investor in the Hunger Project. Can you take us back 10 years and tell us why you chose to become an investor in the Hunger Project?
What appealed to me about the Hunger Project was two major points. First was that I felt really unable to invest in charities overseas. I didn't know how they worked, I didn't trust them, and I didn't actually see what they were doing. The Hunger Project gave me that reassurance. And I must say the advocate for it obviously did it extremely well in showing me the results. The second part was I loved the multiplier effect. Being a lay economist in the old days and now a lawyer, the fact is I could see that my dollar would actually go far. And so that's why I initially invested in the Hunger Project. And it was indeed the first time we had given monies for something outside of Australia. And it is indeed very difficult for donors to get outside their comfort zone. And indeed very difficult to find where you can put your money in areas that you absolutely know need them.
Being involved with the Hunger Project, how did that impact you at a personal level?
Well, at a personal level, I mean, firstly, it was quite exciting to first hear about it. I'd have to say also the thing that really interested me was the fact that it was women who were doing this. As a male, I'd had a strong suspicion, but kept it to myself, that we weren't the most effective workers in the world. And I think the concept of watching a concept of women being able to be empowered to take what they're doing in a small micro way and develop things that could be enormously macro enhancing was absolutely fantastic.
Yes, that's definitely something that sets the Hunger Project apart.
It certainly is.
David, in your role as chairman of the Australian Stock Exchange, we're seeing some real volatility in the markets at the moment. In these uncertain times, it's often the charity dollar that's the first to go. What are your thoughts about that?
I think firstly that it's absolutely correct that when people don't feel good, then they start to hoard their own monies, they start to worry about their own families, and that's natural and probably proper. And that obviously does affect charities. But just like any product, if a charity is worthwhile, if it has a good calling and indeed produces results and indeed is a good value investment, then I would argue that you could actually see it the other way, that in difficult times those sort of charities will get more because they're the ones who can prove that it's worthwhile, and they're the ones that basically people can see will do well with their money.
Out of interest, what do you think makes a charity a good investment?
I think results. In my giving, I have been, to be blunt, disappointed many times by the hyperbole and basically the spin that has been put to me in terms of charities. That's one of the reasons that I felt quite happy about just investing in Australia and not stepping outside the door. With the Hunger Project, I felt firstly a trust from day one. The second thing is dealing with the people who came in. I think they were called the wandering troubadours and so on. When they came through, I instantly took to these people. There was not great bravado. There was a level of thinking and actually, in my view, a humility, which I really liked. And finally with the Hunger Project is, and I've got to admit it wasn't me, but a lot of my friends and peers in my community actually went and had a look. And a guy who's very close to me in a business world went and looked personally, and he rang me up and he was over the moon. And I realised this was a good thing.
David, you're a leader in your community, and investors in the Hunger Project come from all walks of life and various stages of their professional development. What would be your top tips for someone wanting to become a leader in their field?
First and foremost, follow your passion. I must say in my life I've found it very hard even to lead or be involved in organisations for which I don't have a true passion. So if you have a passion, and I believe the Hunger Project is something worthy of passion, then it makes it a lot easier. The second thing is I believe that one should retain one's humility and one's care And if one cares about people in an area that you're passionate about, leadership and great leadership may follow. And you know what? If they don't, you're probably doing pretty well anyway.
We at the Hunger Project see giving as a leadership act. What are your thoughts about that?
I think that giving first is very important, there's no doubt. And it's important for oneself, and it's important, obviously, for the community that you give to. In terms of it being a leadership role, it often isn't. I think, firstly, giving has to be dominated by one's own thinking. I think one should basically use it as a leadership tool. I don't believe in anonymous giving. I always say when I do it that I've done it, and I'm always happy for people to quote that I've done it. And basically I believe that that may show people like myself that it's a good thing. But often giving can follow somebody else, and that's fine. I really believe that people should give for what it does for them, and indeed what they can do with their money. And the reasons behind it or where they think it may achieve is really a personal matter.
That personal matter, what is that for you?
My personal matter is very clear, and I've been very open about it. I come from a family where the family business was brain surgery. Not very remunerative, but extremely donating to the community. And I went completely the opposite way. I went into finance, well remunerated, not much commitment to the social fabric often of the community. My job through my giving, be it time or money, is to change the balance in my own life, to try and seek to achieve what my father achieved every day.
If you were to give someone some advice about giving, what would that be?
Well, I think firstly that giving is something that's really good. So you start with that in my view, that summation. Now, giving that is not to the right causes is not so good. So what you've got to do is to do your homework. With the Hunger Project, it's pretty easy to do your homework. There's plenty written on it. They're very good advocates in Australia, and there are now a lot of people who've actually been to the areas and seen what's happened and the multiplier effect and so on of the money that's been donated. So it's an easy one to check, it's an easy one to be involved in. And I think one listens, one does one's own homework, and then the most important thing is, do you feel good about it? Does this do something for you? I felt with the Hunger Project when I was first approached that it did something for me. Whether it was the person who approached me, who's got a great contagion of ideas, or whether it was the concept of the multiplier that I've talked of, the fact that it was women doing it, that it was right at the grassroots as well, I don't know. But it all contributed to a big tick.